Hello, and welcome to the TIME Capsule Podcast. I'm Barbara Beauregard from AncestrySeeking.com, where I help family historians protect, preserve, and share their family history for generations to come. Today's episode is a little different. As we come to the end of Season 1 of the TIME Capsule Podcast, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on why the work we do as family historians matters so much. Over the past several episodes, we've explored many aspects of genealogy, from organizing research and identifying photographs to understanding the importance of recording family stories and preserving what we discover. But today I want to step back and reflect on something even more important. Why does family history matter so much? And how does the work we do as family historians become a lasting legacy for the future? Genealogy begins with curiosity. For many people, genealogy begins with a simple question. Who were the people who came before us? Where did they live? What challenges did they face? How did they shape the families we belong to today? Those questions often lead us down a fascinating path of discovery. We search for records, explore archives, examine photographs, and slowly begin to piece together the lives of our ancestors. Along the way, names become people, dates become stories, and the past becomes something far more personal. But research is only part of the journey. At some point, many genealogists realize something important. Collecting information is only one part of family history. The other part, the part that often gets overlooked, is preservation. What will happen to this research in the future? Will the photographs still be identified? Will the stories still be remembered? Will someone understand the meaning behind the documents we've gathered? These questions are what led me to think deeply about preservation and legacy, because genealogy research becomes truly powerful when it is organized, documented, and shared. Throughout this season, we've talked about how records provide valuable facts, but stories give those facts meaning. A census record may tell us where someone lived. A marriage record may tell us when two people began their lives together. But stories reveal the human experiences behind those records. They tell us about the choices our ancestors made, the communities they lived in, and the families they built. When we preserve those stories, we preserve something much greater than information. We preserve the human connection across generations. One of the realities of genealogy is that information can easily be lost. Photographs can become separated from the people who recognize them. Documents may be stored in boxes that future generations never open. Digital files can disappear if they are not organized and documented. That's why preservation matters. When we take the time to organize our research, identify photographs, record stories, and document what we know, we're doing something incredibly valuable. We are creating a bridge between the past and the future. This idea is at the heart of what I call the time capsule method. The goal is simple: to help family historians move beyond collecting information and begin thinking about how that knowledge will be preserved and understood by future generations. In many ways, the work we do as genealogists is like creating a time capsule. We gather pieces of history, documents, photographs, memories, and stories, and preserve them so they can be discovered and appreciated in the future. When we do this thoughtfully, our research becomes something more than a collection of records. It becomes a legacy. You don't have to be an expert genealogist to make an impact. Every person who records a story, labels a photograph, or shares family history with relatives is helping preserve something meaningful. Often, the most valuable pieces of family history are the small details that only one person remembers. When those details are written down and shared, they become part of a larger story that future generations can understand and appreciate. So, as we close Season 1 of the Time Capsule Podcast, I hope these episodes have encouraged you to think not only about researching your family history, but also about protecting and preserving it. In future episodes, we'll continue exploring genealogy topics that help family historians understand family relationships, overcome research challenges, avoid common genealogy mistakes, and preserve their discoveries for generations to come. Genealogy is always evolving, and there are always new tools and ideas that can help us better understand the past. But the purpose remains the same: to remember the people who came before us and ensure that their stories are not forgotten. Before we close today's episode, I'd like to suggest one simple action you can take. Choose one item from your genealogy collection. It might be a photograph, a document, or a story that you remember hearing from a relative. Take a few minutes to record what you know about it. Write down the names, the dates, and the context that gives that item meaning. Small steps like this gradually transform research into something lasting. Your family history matters. The work you are doing today may become one of the most meaningful gifts your family ever receives. By researching, organizing, and preserving your family history, you are helping future generations understand where they came from and the lives that shaped their family. And that is truly a legacy worth preserving. Thank you for joining me for Season 1 of the TIME Capsule Podcast. You can find more genealogy resources, articles, and educational materials at ancestryseeking.com. If you enjoyed this episode of the Time Capsule Podcast, be sure to follow or subscribe in your favorite podcast app so new episodes appear automatically. And if you know someone who loves family history, consider sharing this episode with them. Until next time, keep seeking your ancestors and preserving the stories they left behind.